Hello and welcome back. Let's dive into the cool new features with SAS Viya 2025.01. We have the ability to attach links to columns. We get an updated way to score open source models in SAS and a bunch of new steps. And of course, a lot more stuff to take a look at. So let's get going. So here we are inside of SAS Information Catalog. I've already opened up a table and I want to touch on something that we talked about before. Before, we talked about the ability to attach nodes to column. This is located once you go into the column analysis tab of your table, and then on the right hand side you can see this little pen icon. If we click on it, we can find the annotations. Previously, you could only enter text in here. Now you can also add links into this node. And if we look at this, you can of course also intermix text and nodes into one seamless experience. So these links then of course also open up to specific content, for example, where you can learn more about this specific column. You could attach Confluence pages or Jira tickets that are helpful for your end users. The UI is pretty straightforward. Once we're in the editing mode of this, we can click the link icon and insert a new link. We just paste the hyperlink and then add a text that should be displayed instead of the full link. And it's inserted wherever our cursor is when we are clicking the insert link icon. This is super helpful to provide additional outside context and make it easily available to everybody. You might note that this note icon is also available right from the column, and if you hover over it, the node pops open and we can also click on this from this little tab. Switching gear, let's move on over to SAS Studio, where we have 5 new steps. We get 2 new steps in the econometrics section, giving us the ability to use panel data models and spatial regression models. In statistics, we get the ability to use logistic regression and ANOVA statistical power. And the one I want to highlight this time around is the partition data step, which allows us to simply split our data into multiple partitions, which we can then use for further modeling and training. This is a great way to visually build out your pipelines and helps you to quickly iterate on your processes, making things like partition explicit within your flow so that you understand how things are moving through your process. It's a great way to make data science more accessible to a lay person and make it visually representative within your flow. So great utility all around. Let's switch gears again and move into SAS Model Manager, where we have the highlight feature, in my opinion, in this new release. For this, we're going to manage models, to enter Model Manager, and have pre-opened a Python model that we can use. And for this, we are going to exemplify how this works using the scoring method, where we can do test runs of our scoring method directly inside of SAS Model Manager, so we don't need any additional setup in the background. Let me quickly show you my test setup here so that you can also understand how things work in the background, and we'll take a deeper look at how it works. Here we have the model that I'm scoring here. We can specify our input table and the output library where we want our scored data to reside. And then if we look inside of here, we can see the actual output table, so the result of our scoring test. We can take a look at the generated code and also take a look at the log that went on behind the scenes. And here is a keyword, gateway. Gateway is a way to run Python and R code directly in CAST and leverage its capability to run in a multi-threaded capacity, not only the code, but also pass a slice of data into each thread and then summarize all of the results at the end. You can imagine that this really speeds up model scoring, as all the runs are independent of each other, so you can hyper-parallelize as much as you want by scaling up or down your CAS server and distributing the data accordingly. This is done in the background for us. When you register a Python model, for example, using the open source code node from Model Studio, implicitly in the background, a new scoring resource is created for you called the gateway wrapper.sas. This simple wrapper allows us to take your scoring code that is completely written in Python and send it across all the threads and give each thread a slice of your data, thus parallelizing the scoring massively and thus reducing the time to get to the model value. This is an awesome new capability that you can make use of. And speaking of that, this is where we transition into the awesome articles in the SAS community, where we actually have a detailed article that dives even deeper and gives you all the links into the SAS documentation, explaining to you how this works behind the scenes. So I highly recommend you check out this article to fully understand what is going on here. Now, moving on from SAS Model Manager, let's talk a bit about SAS Event Stream Processing. It's not something that I've really touched on in this series before, but if you are a user of event stream processing or you have an idea for an event stream processing project, then you should check out this post that dives into detail, giving you some tips and tricks on how to use the event stream processing studio. Next up, the data-driven analytics series. There's a couple of articles already in this series that are linked together, but I picked out this one specifically on the decision tree model results that you get when you build a decision tree and how you can interact, read, and understand the output of a decision tree model. This post really takes you through the whole process and helps you get more value out of your statistical models. And to wrap things up, I want to give a bit of a shout out again to SAS Model Manager, where the library that kind of accompanies SAS Model Manager, SAS-CTL for Python, has been updated with additional functions and features that make your life moving models into SAS a lot easier, and then also testing the scoring functionality a lot easier. So highly recommend you check out this feature if you are a Python developer or if you are a fan of SAS-CTL already and want to see what's new. I hope you enjoyed this update as much as I did. I think the new capability in SAS Model Manager to really speed up that open source model scoring is an insanely value unlock for the Viya platform, and I cannot wait to see what you will build with it. See you next time. Bye bye.